Tensions are rising in one of the most hotly contested regions on the planet, the South China Sea. From militarized artificial islands to fighter jets and warplanes, China's heavy presence in the disputed region is putting the U.S. and its allies on notice. CNN got rare access aboard a U.S. Navy surveillance flight and saw firsthand some tense moments with China's military.
China has just unveiled a new military transport aircraft, and it's not just fast or futuristic. It can take off vertically, fly itself with AI, and carry enough weight to move an entire battlefield. The U.S. caught off guard. Officials are calling this a major wake-up call that could change global air power forever. Is this just a plane or a stealth weapon disguised as a cargo carrier? And what does it mean for America's control of the skies? Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you'll see why this aircraft has everyone from the Pentagon to Boeing on edge. A new era takes off. It started with one video. A sleek, powerful aircraft rising vertically from a hidden runway somewhere in China. Its engines silent, its shape sharp and angular, like something out of science fiction. But this wasn't fiction, this was real. China has officially revealed a new type of air transport aircraft, and what it can do has military analysts in the US on edge. State media praised it as the future of global logistics. But insiders are calling it something else, a new era of dominance in the sky. What makes this aircraft different? For one, it's not built like a traditional cargo plane. This one has vertical takeoff and landing, meaning it doesn't need a long runway. It can launch from almost anywhere, a flat rooftop, a mountain base, even a remote island. Then there's the AI autopilot system, which allows the aircraft to fly, reroute, and even land without any human assistance. But it's not just about how it flies, it's how far, how fast, and how quiet. Early estimates say it can cross continents in hours, moving cargo, equipment, or personnel with stealth-level noise and minimal radar visibility. Its aerodynamic design hints at stealth technology, a cargo aircraft that looks and flies like a bomber. One defense expert summed it up best. This isn't a delivery truck, it's a ghost in the air. The big question now isn't what it is, it's what it's meant to do. Because as we're about to see, this isn't just a transport aircraft, it's a strategic weapon. It's a strategic weapon. On paper, it's just a plane. But in reality, this machine could change everything about modern warfare. It's fast, adaptable, and designed to deploy troops, drones, or missiles across the globe in a matter of hours. That kind of speed turns any local conflict into a global one overnight. What makes it truly dangerous is its ability to operate in places where most aircraft can't. Rough terrain, makeshift airstrips, or unstable environments. This aircraft handles them all. That means China can drop in military support, surveillance tools, or supplies anywhere, anytime. No airbase needed. This is especially worrying for US analysts when it comes to Taiwan. One military strategist warned, if China moves first, we might not have time to move at all. And he's not exaggerating. With this kind of reach and speed, response time shrinks to minutes, not hours or days. It changes how deterrence works. It raises the stakes. This aircraft isn't just delivering cargo, it's delivering strategic control. And if you think that's high-tech, wait until you see what's inside the cockpit. Because next, we're diving into how artificial intelligence is flying the plane, and maybe rewriting the rules of aviation. The AI revolution in the cockpit. Forget everything you thought you knew about piloting. No flight suit, no joystick, no pilot with years of training reacting under pressure. Inside this new Chinese aircraft, artificial intelligence runs the show, and it's changing the rules of aviation. Step into the cockpit, and you won't find a tangle of switches or levers. Instead, it's clean, quiet, and eerily minimal. Touchscreens, data feeds, and autonomous systems dominate the space. This is not a place made for human instincts. It's built for a machine that doesn't sleep, doesn't blink, and never gets tired. This isn't just autopilot, it's something smarter. The aircraft uses a full-scale AI co-pilot system designed to think through every phase of the mission. From takeoff to touchdown, it calculates flight paths, navigates around bad weather, avoids radar detection, and even shifts altitude to dodge hostile satellites, all in real time. In one reported test flight, the AI rerouted the plane midair after detecting possible satellite surveillance. It then descended through dense Wuhan and landed with zero human input. No visibility, no hesitation. It wasn't just flying, it was adapting. What gives it this edge is its connection to China's broader defense grid. This aircraft doesn't operate alone. It's constantly synced with live military intelligence, fed by satellites, drones, and surveillance planes. That means it doesn't just see what's ahead, it knows what's coming. One U.S. cyber warfare analyst summed it up bluntly: it thinks faster than a human, and that's the scary part. But the tech doesn't stop at flight control. This AI system comes fully loaded with biometric security, including facial recognition, so only authorized personnel can interact with it. It uses adaptive voice commands, allowing mission operators to adjust instructions on the fly. And it feeds real-time mission updates back to command centers, offering a bird's-eye view of everything happening in and around the aircraft. If it sounds like science fiction, it's not. China has already built and tested these systems on smaller drone platforms. Now they've scaled it up to a full-size military transport, something no other nation has operational at this level. This isn't just about replacing the pilot. It's about removing human limitation entirely. No fatigue, no error, no hesitation. This aircraft can fly for 24 hours straight, across continents, with full awareness of its environment, faster, smarter, and colder than any human crew. And yet, even with all this brain power, the AI isn't the only breakthrough. Because what happens when you no longer need a runway at all? Up next, we move from intelligence to liftoff, looking at the vertical launch system that could redefine how and where the next global conflict begins. The game changer: most large aircraft need a runway, long, flat, prepared surfaces. But China's new transport doesn't care about any of that. It lifts off vertically, like a helicopter, not a plane. That one feature alone is a game changer. Why? Because it removes one of the biggest logistical challenges in military operations: location dependency. Now, China can launch or land this aircraft from tight city spaces, forests, deserts, or moving platforms. That means surprise deployments are suddenly easier. This plane can show up where no one expects it, and that's powerful. It also opens the door for humanitarian uses. Imagine this aircraft flying into disaster zones, floods, earthquakes, or collapsed cities, where no traditional airliner could reach. That gives China not just military strength, but global goodwill. Vertical takeoff is also about flexibility. With urban warfare becoming more common, the need for air mobility in crowded or contested areas is critical. One analyst said it best: this turns every skyscraper into a potential runway. And just because it lifts vertically doesn't mean it's light. Which brings us to the next question: just how much can this thing carry? You're about to find out. How much can it carry? Let's talk weight. This aircraft isn't just fast and smart, it's a beast when it comes to payload. Early estimates suggest it can carry over 150 tons of cargo. To put that in perspective, that's the weight of battle tanks, mobile HQs, or an entire field hospital. It's not just raw space, it's smart space. The internal layout uses automated loading systems, gravity-adjusted stabilizers, and real-time sensors that balance weight mid-flight. That means no wasted space. Everything is packed, secured, and optimized for the mission. And it's not just for war. China has hinted at civilian uses, like carrying medical supplies during pandemics, or infrastructure kits for building bridges and roads in remote areas. But make no mistake, this is a military-first platform. A former U.S. Air Force official said, if it can haul that much, it can move a war in one flight. That much weight, that much reach, it changes how fast a country can go from zero to combat ready. So yes, it's impressive. But now things get a little more complicated, because next we'll explore how China is disguising military power as commercial opportunity, and why the term cargo might never mean the same thing again. Trojan horse tech? On the surface, it looks like progress. China claims this aircraft isn't just for the military, it's being pitched as a civilian cargo game changer. They say it will revolutionize shipping, emergency response, and even global freight logistics. But behind that promise lies a deeper concern. What if these planes are really Trojan horses, hiding their military edge behind a commercial smile? The dual-use design means these aircraft can be easily adapted for civilian flights, flying goods across continents, dropping emergency supplies, or transporting equipment to remote construction projects. And with global demand for faster freight options, many developing nations are interested. It's sleek, modern, and looks like the future of transport. But here's the catch. The exact same aircraft that can deliver medical supplies can also deliver military hardware, fast, silent, and without warning. That's what has U.S. analysts worried. As one Pentagon official said, you don't need to fire a shot to shift. Control, just show up faster. What makes this strategy even more effective is that it's profitable. China can sell the aircraft or lease it under commercial contracts while using the revenue to scale military production behind the scenes. It's soft power funding hard power, without the West catching on until it's too late. This is logistics warfare, masked as innovation. And it's not just theory. These aircraft are already being offered to Belt and Road partner countries, wrapped in infrastructure deals and commercial service packages. But this tactic hasn't gone unnoticed. And the response from Washington? It's loud, fast, and very nervous. Let's go inside the Pentagon's reaction next. Inside the U.S. response. Behind closed doors in Washington, this aircraft didn't just raise eyebrows, it triggered alarms. Leaked reports revealed that top U.S. defense officials were briefed urgently. The problem wasn't just that China had a new aircraft, it was that the U.S. didn't see it coming. DARPA was immediately brought in. Lockheed Martin was reportedly instructed to accelerate long-range cargo projects that had been shelved or delayed. Budgets were reallocated, prototypes re-examined. The message was clear: catch up or fall behind for good. One senior logistics planner said, "This isn't a gap in our aircraft, it's a gap in how we think about time." The concern wasn't just capability, it was China's readiness to act. With these new aircraft, China can move troops and supplies faster than the U.S. can react. Bases across the Pacific, Guam, Okinawa, even Hawaii were now being seen as vulnerable, not just to attack, but to being outpaced. It's not about firepower, it's about first move advantage. Whoever controls the sky first controls the battlefield before it starts. And the scariest part, these aircraft fit into something bigger, something the U.S. has been struggling to define: China's gray zone warfare. Because these planes don't just blur lines, they erase them. And that's exactly what we explore next. China's gray zone strategy. In China's new era of warfare, not everything wears camouflage. Some of the most powerful tools don't look like weapons at all. They look like satellites, ports, telecom towers, and now aircraft. This is China's gray zone strategy, blurring the line between peaceful infrastructure and covert military assets. This new air transport fits that playbook perfectly. One day it's carrying construction supplies to Africa. The next, it's quietly dropping military hardware into a conflict zone. The aircraft is a symbol of how China is turning civilian-looking systems into wartime tools, activated at will. It's the same logic used for their Belt and Road ports, commercial on paper, but often staffed or monitored by military personnel. The same goes for some of their space launches and weather balloons. As one U.S. intelligence officer put it, they've mastered the art of war without uniforms. That's what makes this aircraft so dangerous. It's invisible in plain sight. It can fly legally, operate globally, and shift missions mid-flight. It creates confusion, hesitation, and delays. Exactly what China wants during a standoff or pre-conflict phase. And with AI at the helm and stealthy flight profiles, detecting these missions before they're done becomes nearly impossible. But this isn't just about warfare, it's also about global access, and how this aircraft is giving China a new way to reach the world faster than ships ever could. Let's talk about that next, in the sky-high version of the Belt and Road. Belt and Road now in the skies. We've all heard of the Belt and Road Initiative, China's grand plan to build ports, highways, and railways across the globe. But now it's taking flight. This new transport aircraft is the latest chapter, a way to link nations not just by land or sea, but by sky. China calls it the Air Silk Road, and it's a quiet revolution. With this aircraft, they can leap over poor roads, bypass border disputes, and deliver goods and influence directly to partner nations. In places like Africa, Central Asia, and South America, where infrastructure is still developing, this offers a shortcut to development and dependency. These aircraft can drop in power stations, bridge kits, fiber optic systems, even full mobile hospitals. One Chinese official described it as a new kind of diplomacy measured in hours, not years. But don't mistake kindness for neutrality. With every delivery comes data, influence, and positioning. These flights are monitored, recorded, and optimized by China's digital infrastructure. Every mission isn't just about helping, it's about mapping. This air network also allows China to build alliances quickly. Need help after a disaster? China arrives first. Need vaccines, supplies, or tech? The aircraft is ready. These moves create soft power, faster, cheaper, and more persuasive than ships or soldiers. But under that generosity, the military capacity never goes away. And the design of this aircraft hints at something even more advanced, something much faster and much more dangerous. Next, we ask the big question, is this a transport plane or a stealth bomber in disguise? Is this a stealth bomber in disguise? Take a closer look at the shape of China's new transport aircraft, and you might start to wonder. The body is smooth, the wings are narrow, the angles look suspiciously stealthy. And the speed? Some experts believe this may be more than just a cargo carrier. It could be a test bed for hypersonic or stealth bomber technology. Multiple defense analysts have noted that the aircraft's structure resembles that of early stealth bombers. Low radar visibility, minimal heat signature, and engine placement designed to reduce infrared detection. It's no coincidence. Reports suggest China is developing next-gen bombers that combine stealth and hypersonic speed, and this aircraft may be the prototype in plain sight. As one aerospace researcher put it, we might be watching a bomber with a passport. If this is true, then what looks like a humanitarian aircraft today could be delivering kinetic strikes tomorrow. And because it's dual use, it could fly missions in foreign airspace under the guise of peace. That's what makes this technology so unsettling. It doesn't need to be a bomber to serve that function. The systems, the shell, the data network, it's all modular. Change the loadout, change the mission. This changes how nations prepare, respond, and defend. But there's more, because this aircraft isn't just about stealth and speed, it's also about integration. It doesn't fly alone. It flies as part of a digital, drone-based, autonomous war system. And in the next section, we'll see how that system is already being tested, from the skies to the drop zones below, from drones to drop zones. This aircraft isn't just a flying the warehouse. It's a command post, a drone launcher, and a real-time battlefield brain. That's where China's edge becomes truly visible. Because while the West still thinks of air transport as delivery, China sees it as live integration, a node in an intelligent, self-coordinated war network. The aircraft is reportedly equipped with internal drone deployment bays. Mid-flight, it can launch surveillance drones, combat UAVs, or jamming pods, even while in motion. These drones aren't independent. They're linked to the mothership and to each other, feeding data, mapping enemy positions, and adjusting tactics as the aircraft approaches its target. This means China can establish air superiority before it even lands. It doesn't need to send in soldiers first. It sends information, sensors, and automation. Once the drones clear the zone or identify threats, the aircraft follows, dropping off whatever the mission requires: mobile HQs, special forces, missile units, or humanitarian kits. One U.S. defense analyst said it plainly: this isn't transport, this is synchronized invasion. Without warning, without buildup. And because the aircraft is AI-assisted, the coordination is lightning fast. The system adapts on the fly, literally. It can cancel a drop, divert a drone, or reallocate cargo in real time based on live battlefield input. This kind of integration is what the US has been working on for years, but China appears to have moved faster and more quietly. And what makes all this even more concerning? China built the whole system without touching a single Western chip. Let's look now at the independence powering all of this. The tech stack China built from scratch. Infrastructure independence. This is where things get even more serious. Under layers of wings, fiber, and carbon composites lies something far more strategic: total tech independence. From engines to software, sensors to control systems, China claims this aircraft was built with zero reliance on Western parts. That's not just engineering pride. That's a geopolitical firewall. This shift is a direct response to US sanctions and tech restrictions. When Washington cut off access to semiconductors, aircraft components, and avionics systems, China pivoted fast. Now this aircraft is the flagship of its military tech independence movement. A state media anchor boldly declared, "We don't just fly faster, we fly alone." It's more than symbolism. It means no outside pressure can stop production, limit upgrades, or sabotage systems. And that freedom opens the door to rapid innovation. China can test new engines, new coatings, new eye systems without seeking approval or fearing supply chain disruption. It also makes reverse engineering harder for the West. There's no common standard, no familiar framework. For US analysts, this is like trying to decode a language that no one else speaks. This independence isn't just technical, it's strategic leverage. And when paired with global reach and soft power delivery, it sets the stage for something bigger, something permanent. Let's now bring it all together and ask the question that matters most. Is this the future of air power? The future of air power. When we think of power in the skies, we often think of jets screaming across the horizon, missiles arming, and engines roaring. But this aircraft is different. It's silent, smart, and always one step ahead. That's what makes it so dangerous and so revolutionary. With just one platform, China has combined speed, stealth, intelligence, and independence. It can deliver supplies or soldiers, drones or diplomacy, infrastructure or intimidation, all within hours, across the globe. This is not just an aircraft, it's a signal to the world. China no longer follows behind. It leads. The Pentagon knows it. NATO knows it. Even rival aviation companies are now reevaluating what air mobility really means. This isn't just about performance specs, it's about the redefinition of response time, reach, and readiness. One US general reportedly said in a closed session, "We're used to leading the skies, but in this race, we're already behind." The age of steel air dominance, built on massive fleets, slow supply lines, and human-only piloting, is fading. And what's replacing it is faster, smaller, smarter, and much harder to track. The big question now isn't just what can China do with this aircraft? It's how many more are coming, and who will follow their lead. Because if this is the model, then future air power won't be loud, obvious, or easily detected. It will be slow, quiet, and permanent. And for the US, that could be the real shock in the squadron. This isn't just a new aircraft, it's a new strategy. China is changing how war, logistics, and even peace look from above. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and drop a comment below. Thanks for watching. Your support keeps us flying.